Morning, Florida will no longer allow transgendered people to change their sex, on their state driver's license to reflect their gender identity.
Hey, everybody. Guess who's back with my buddy, Seth. Hey, Seth.
Hey, how's it going?
Right on, dude. So we get such great feedback from you all about us doing these reactions. So, we're going to do more and more of these. So today, Seth and I decided that we really wanted to discuss this new Florida bans on identifications and what is the other one? Childhood transition.
Gender affirming care for children.
Yeah, gender affirming care for children. All of that just doesn't make any sense. Whatever. But before we move forward, thanks everybody for watching our channel and subscribing, and we're watching us grow like mad, and all your great comments, and everyone's you're all giving us really a great feeling of community. Yeah, I do. Don't you feel like it's kind of like becoming a sort of little bit of a community here?
It is. It really, really is.
I love it. It's just great. Yeah, it's really nice. It's nice, I think, for all of us to feel that we can have these conversations, and whatever pushback people want to give us, that's their problem, not ours. It's kind of powerful, actually. We're just like, say whatever you want. This isn't your space.
Absolutely.
Let's start with the so Seth and I are going to look at these. We're going to react to it. So let's start with I think it's the ban on the identification, okay?
Morning, Florida will no longer allow transgendered people to change their sex, on their state driver's license to reflect their gender identity. On Friday, the deputy executive director of the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles wrote a memo that the department would rescind a provision on gender requirements in the driver's license operational manual. Now, Florida licenses can only be replaced when they're lost or stolen, or when the licensee has their address changed or their name, or some additional restrictions. But now it's unclear how this advisory will conflict with current federal and Florida law.
Wow. So let me just say this, and then you can comment, Seth. What did you all expect? We were doing just fine as trans people. We were walking the world. We had our IDs. We had all passports. All of it changed. What did you expect? Here it comes. What do you think, dude?
Nice things.
It's unbelievable to me. And watch, everyone's going to be like, oh my God, anti-trans laws. Nope. You guys did look, I'm going to tell you right now, I blame the trans activists for this.
It is. It's all their fault. No one was even talking about it. I mean, 11 years ago, it was so simple.
That's right.
It was so simple. You send your fingerprints in.
Yep.
Pay a couple bucks for fees.
Yep.
I mean, and that's it. It was because nothing was happening. I mean, of course there was a time where you couldn't do that either, but once it got there, we shouldn't be reversing.
Dude, I changed my ID before I even transitioned 30 years ago, okay? Without anything. Then I eventually changed all my passport, but I had to go through a lawyer and do a lot of stuff to change my passport and change all those identifications. Because look at me and you. Seth and I can't travel the world with a female passport or anything. You can't. You could never walk into the airport, dude, with a female passport. They'll think that you are actually like a terrorist or something.
That's what will raise the flags, yeah.
Yeah. So now me and you and real transsexual people are going to completely get hurt by this law, because so what I know about the law, and because I have a friend who lives in Florida who's a trans man, and he told me basically what this law is about is self-ID. So it's not going to stop the people who have actually gone through the system like you and I, who get a letter, who totally are solid, like get letters from you have to show up to the DMV with an actual, that you are going through gender, identity transition or disorder.
That's old school. No one does that anymore.
Now they're going to have to. And that's what I've been fighting for, is to get back to that, what the kids call gatekeeping.
Yeah.
So
it's a good thing.
Right, because anyone could self-ID as a woman or man and get an ID that changes it. That is actually dangerous for many reasons. I think everybody knows why. I don't need to say why.
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
because there's going to be bad players who are not really trans who are going to use, which they already are, and can make an ID that says they're a woman when they're a man and they still look like a man.
It's going to be those people on TikTok. Those are the people that are going to be in that situation. And we're just over here trying to mind our own business.
You're right. We just mind our own business, and here we are getting sucked in. I mean, I don't live in Florida, thank God, but so now the trans people are losing their minds because, oh my God, it's a trans. It's not anti-trans at all. In fact, I
No.
find it to be actually pro-trans because now we're locking it down where it should have been locked down from the beginning.
Right. Right. So these steps are actually good things. And, when you see the articles, you're going to see them over the next few weeks, and they're going to say things like trans genocide, trans hate, all of these
Wow.
crazy things that have nothing to do
Wow.
with what, it actually is about.
No, I love the genocide. Right now, for sure, it's genocide because now everyone's going to freak out and off themselves because their license doesn't match their gender identity. Sure they are. They're just going to go back to living the way they were because now they can't play the game anymore. And, I don't care what anybody says. It's dangerous when we have these open policies that reflect our community because we're now just inviting huge problems, and we see the problems happening under the guise of anyone who says they're trans is trans.
Right. In
I
fun
mean,
fact, I never even changed my ID. I haven't changed it yet.
wow.
Because, it's like when you're actually trans, yeah, the beginning of your transition is rough and it's a, whole thing, but after 4 or 5 years, it didn't offend me to see it, and I didn't have time or the money. And,
Yep.
so if you're going to make a big deal about this and you're going to see people on TikTok making a big deal about it, it's the same thing as when that one person goes into those restaurants and tries to get that conversation going. Because
That's right.
I don't remember that I haven't changed my ID. I really don't. It doesn't.
Excellent.
Every once in a while, I have to say my legal name,
Birth.
but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, because you're solid, dude. You see do you see Seth? The dude is solid. He's not going to freak out if someone misgenders him because that would be ridiculous, number one. But number two, that's a real actual, we understand the path here, and we understand sometimes things are super important to us. Sometimes they're not. And all transsexuals have had to navigate the world that way, friend. I had to do the same thing in the beginning to change my IDs and and explain it at the Social Security office and why you're doing this. And, God, kids would fall apart today if they had to do what you and I had to do to navigate to get to these spaces. And I don't want somebody to struggle, Seth, and I don't think you do either. That's not the point here.
No.
The point is, I don't want somebody to be taking space when they shouldn't be in that space, like someone getting surgery when they should have never gotten surgery.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty much black and white.
I mean, wow, all these people got. Well, it's supposed to be, but yeah, now, oops, I made a mistake. Like, okay, your ID, who cares? But when you start doing surgery and you made a mistake, what's wrong with everybody? Like, wake up. That's a whole other level. That's not even a mistake. That's malpractice.
Oh, yeah.
Right on.
I mean,
yeah,
no, you're right.
What?
Absolutely.
What? Like, yeah, those doctors know what they're doing. Don't try it. Taking off boobs of a 15-year-old girl, and pretending like it's totally okay. What? So,
They do.
Florida did two things, by the way, people. They did the ID, and now let's watch this, and then and now they did this one. Let's watch this one, Seth, and then oh yeah, okay, ready, go. Yeah, okay, go.
A ban on treatment for transgender kids and teens here in Florida is now in effect, and now there is also a bill being proposed in the legislature that could go further by punishing medical providers and parents who go against the state. Providers would be punished for violating the rule with a third-degree felony.
Wow.
It would also allow courts to take custody from Florida parents who are seeking gender-affirming care for their child out of state. This new rule and the proposed bill are not in line with guidance from the federal government and the American Medical Association.
Okay, dude, you see what's happening? So there's the second law, anti-trans law, where now kids can't transition. Duh, we saw that coming, but Florida is the only one that has the ball. Well, no, I think we have, how many other states now?
I saw Texas. Texas also did it recently, and
there's like a lot.
Oh, is there?
I thought there was more than that. A bunch of states are literally going children transitioning. So it's basically for children. But I also heard that Florida was going to start limiting it for adults, which that's what I keep telling everybody. You don't think they're going to come after all of us because now we did this to children? So the Florida law to me is important, and I'm glad that they're doing that. But I don't know if you noticed this one part, Seth, where it said they can also take your child away from you if you do try to escape and go to California to transition. I don't like that on any from
No.
either side. You know, threatening to take your child away from you.
Yeah, because parents are going to be so confused. They're not going to know
That's right.
what's the right thing to do for their kid,
That's
what's the
right.
right thing to do for their family. It's just going to get really messy.
Yeah, and I don't like the state taking away children from unless the child is being literally abused and you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
just not good. Yeah, then we need to step in. But and I also do believe transitioning a child is child abuse. I do not believe, but that's a slippery slope. I don't like it from either side. This idea that you're gonna target parents and you're gonna take their kids away. Like, no, we just have to make it so it's against the law everywhere, right? It should. I live in California, which is the nuttiest place ever. We're the most nutty of all of them.
It is.
We're literally handing out sex changes for kids.
Yeah, y'all are like Canada.
Oh, totally, dude. We're like free sex changes for children. Come to California. Like, this is so insane, dude.
Yeah. So Florida's pretty much the polar opposite at the moment.
Yep, they're going after us, and that's. I mean, again, as a transsexual, I'm going to tell you, I don't blame them. I honestly don't, and we have to hold people in our community responsible for this because they're the ones who led this really fake charge of trans rights and trans people know who they are, and no, they don't. I'm 61, transitioned 30 years ago. I don't really even think I know who I am, to be honest with you. That's why I go to therapy.
Right.
I mean, what? To say that about you're always learning, you're always changing, you're always changing your mind about if you saw me 30 years ago to today, I'm a completely different, and not just the physical aspect, but even the way I think and walk the world.
Yeah,
right?
and it was very important that you transitioned to be able to be who you are today.
That's right.
Because you have gender dysphoria.
Because I actually have it. It's a real thing. Oh, but remember, you don't need to have gender dysphoria to be trans, dude.
No.
Not in Florida. Yeah, you do. Here it comes. You have to get a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. Now, watch. Nobody's going to be trans anymore. All of a sudden, magically, no one's going to be trans anymore. And and that's just going to end that stuff. And
Well,
I think it's
complaining that they don't have health insurance or they can't afford it, and they'll blame it on that.
We'll move then. Move to another state.
Right.
Go ahead, move to California. Oh, I know, move to San Francisco. Why don't all the trannies move to San Francisco? And then you got everything paid for. You get $1,500 check a month. Did you know that? The state writes you a check.
I remember that.
Dude, literally they give you $1,500. Only the only thing you need is to be trans. And anyone could be trans.
They weren't checking to see if people were actually trans either.
Nope. You just have to say it. That's it. So anyone out there who needs a job, who needs money, a place to live, move to San Francisco. I mean, wow, dude. Really? No other part of the LGBTQIA plus PP gets to have that, by the way. Only the T. How fair is that?
It's so
crazy.
Unnecessary too.
And
it really is. Falls right back into the whole, trans genocide thing.
It's all of it.
It's
all of it. It's all coming to a head. You and I know it's all coming to a head. The truth is coming out, and these bills are going to get passed, and me and you are going to have to suffer a little bit along with it. But I think we're pretty solid, right? Because we might lose our health care along with it. But I told you all, I'm willing to lose my health care if in order to save these kids. 100%. I'll figure it out. I'll you know what I mean? I'll figure out how to move forward. But at this point, we can't be having kids sucked into this stuff.
This is ultimately a good thing.
Ultimately, I agree with you. And here's two trans guys telling you that. So we agree. And a lot of trans guys, I think, that I've spoken to agree with this. It's how we're going to get back to a safe environment, right?
Yep.
Well, Thanks, Seth. I appreciate you always joining me here, and I hope everybody enjoyed our little commentary here. And we'll see you guys this week on the live, and let us know if you like this, if what other things you want us to comment on. There's so many crazy things happening right now, so we love doing this. And thanks again, everybody. I'll see you guys all on the Wednesday tomorrow. Yeah.
Members only live stream.
Oh yeah, we're doing that on Friday. Yeah.
At noon, right? You said noon.
Noon. Friday at noon. Yep.
If you stayed long enough to see this part, members only live stream Friday at noon.
Right on, dude. That's a good producer for you. There you go. Okay, we'll see you guys all in the next one. Thanks for joining us.